Jackie Dean.
Thank you very much, Mr Speaker. This is a government which has had 4 priorities in this, its second term. They have been responsibly managing New Zealanders' finances because, of course, we need to remember that the government's finances are New Zealanders' finances, and we've done that. Honourable Bill English should be congratulated in returning the government's finances to surplus. In a context of the worst of economic times, having inherited a basket case economy from Labor after 9 years of the best of economic times. And I'm minded of the contribution made by my colleague sitting in front of me, the senior whip, Louise Upston, who, when mentioning the initiative into rheumatic fever and conquering that terrible disease, what did Labor do when they had 9 years in government? What did they do about rheumatic fever? Absolutely nothing. So it is a good idea to remind the House and to remind New Zealanders that in this term of the national government we have addressed some of those difficult and very meaningful issues that beset New Zealanders. Mr Speaker, we have built a more productive and competitive economy. I have already said that we inherited an economy which was going into recession, even though Labor wouldn't acknowledge that fact. And now, 6 years later, under the constant and stable stewardship of this government, are looking for an economic growth rate of between 2% and 4% in the next year. Mr Speaker, this government had a priority of delivering better public services, and it's that I really want to delve into a little more. But I first want to also say that the fourth and arguably for us mainlanders most important priority is in the rebuild of Christchurch. And I have to congratulate Housing Minister Nick Smith, who this morning, when speaking to the Social Services Select Committee, outlined this government's plan to address the housing issues in Christchurch. And it runs from things like introducing special housing areas, making sure that the Christchurch City Council is up to speed in its consenting processes, because it hasn't been. It has been around social housing, making sure that there is enough affordable housing for the people of Christchurch. It's so easy to forget now, isn't it? It is so easy to forget that 3 years ago there was a series of major earthquakes which absolutely shattered the city, absolutely shattered the infrastructure, and this government, as one of its main priorities, has put so much focus and effort into the rebuild of Christchurch for all New Zealanders. Mr Speaker, I did say that I wanted to concentrate a little on public services, and it has been our public services who have delivered wonderful education and health services for New Zealanders. And I want to talk about another of this government's priorities, and that is supporting children and supporting families. This budget contains a $500 million package of support for children and for families. It is focused, this budget, on families and those most vulnerable children who most need our care and protection. It's got 5 elements. First, this government, and it is this government, will extend paid parental leave from 14 to 18 weeks. That's 4.5 months that new parents will have for their newborns. Secondly, the government will significantly boost the parental tax credit. That's something this government is doing. Thirdly, the government will invest $90 million over 4 years to make doctors' visits and prescriptions free for children under the age of 13. What a wonderful, wonderful policy for the children of New Zealand. Fourthly, increase of funding in early childhood education. We want most kids to go to early childhood education before they go to school. And finally, measures to protect vulnerable children. This is a good budget, Mr Speaker. Malo.
Brendan Horan. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, I wonder where we are going as a nation. What is important to us? And, sir, I asked this question of some university students just yesterday.